You are lying in bed right now, aren't you? Holding your phone, scrolling through those stories of people making millions, people whose terrifying self-discipline makes you feel small. There is a fire burning inside your heart. In your mind, you've already mapped out your entire comeback story. But strangely, your body feels as heavy as lead. You don't even have the energy to roll over and pick up a book. You start to despise yourself. You curse yourself in your mind as a useless, lazy slacker, a daydreamer who can never be lifted from the mud. Every night, you lose sleep over your grand ambitions. Every morning, you wake up into a state of guilt-ridden paralysis. But what if I told you today that you aren't lazy at all? Quite the opposite. It is precisely because you crave success so deeply that your body has chosen to lock your soul away. It sounds like a paradox, doesn't it? But stay with me. Today, we are going to deconstruct the fake laziness inside you, layer by layer, just like an architect dismantling a compromised building. Imagine a high-end sports car. Its engine is roaring furiously at 8,000 revolutions per minute. The temperature under the hood is so hot, it's on the verge of spontaneous combustion. Fuel is burning at an unsustainable rate. Yet, inside the cabin, the handbrake is pulled up to its absolute limit. The brake pads are gripping the wheels with a death clutch. The tires spin wildly in place, violently frictionizing the asphalt, producing a blinding, pungent cloud of smoke. The chassis trembles violently, emitting a painful, mechanical groan. To any passerby walking past this vehicle, however, the car is perfectly stationary. They shake their heads and say, "Look at that dead car. It's so lazy." It isn't even moving. But only you, sitting in the driver's seat, know the truth. Your foot has slammed the gas pedal straight through the floorboard. Your internal world is a chaotic battlefield. Your energy has been completely depleted by fighting yourself in place. You did nothing all day, yet you feel more exhausted than someone who spent 12 hours doing hard labor. This is why, after a whole day of being idle, you feel dead tired at night. You aren't stagnant. You are burning yourself into ash inside the furnace of your own internal friction. In psychology and neurobiology, this state bears a cold, clinical name, the functional freeze state. It is an extreme survival mechanism rooted in the Polyvagal Theory. When average people face stress, their bodies activate the fight or flight mode. However, when your desire for success becomes distortedly high, and when you equate failure with the total destruction of your existence, your amygdala sounds the highest level of alarm. It perceives the task ahead as so monumental, so insurmountable, that it determines you cannot survive by fighting or running. Therefore, to protect you, your nervous system deploys its third evolutionary instinct, freeze. This is exactly how a small animal in the wild plays dead when confronted by an apex predator. Your brain mistakenly believes that as long as it keeps you lying in bed scrolling through your phone, as long as it keeps you doing nothing, it can shield you from the fatal blow of trying hard but failing. Your laziness, in reality, is an umbrella of protection extended by a desperate nervous system. The true diagnosis of your condition is not a lack of motivation, but a toxic form of perfectionism spawned by hypervigilance. There is a deeply distorted formula hardwired into your brain: my performance equals my self-worth. If you write that report, start that business, or edit that video, and the result turns out to be mediocre, it proves in your mind that you are an utter failure. To preserve the last shred of self-esteem that whispers, "I am actually highly talented, I just haven't tried yet," your subconscious begins to orchestrate a strategy known as self-handicapping. You weaponize laziness to systematically engineer your own failure. This way, when things fall apart, or when you never even launch, you can soothe your ego by saying, "It's not that I lack ability, I just didn't take it seriously." Look at how exquisitely designed this psychological defense wall is. You would rather endure the slow burn of mediocrity than confront the terrifying truth that you might just be ordinary. You are trapped in a cognitive panopticon built from high expectations and zero tolerance for error. Every wall reads, "Do it perfectly," or "Don't do it at all." But the reality is, no great work in human history ever started with perfection. What you call laziness is merely untamed ambition, frozen solid in the climate of excessive fear. The most covert form of evasion in life is not casually drifting away, but paralyzing yourself at the starting line under the grand banner of a dream. We chronically overestimate what can be achieved in a single day, while simultaneously humiliating the courage it takes to take a messy first step in a single minute. True healing is not transforming yourself into a tireless machine. It is granting yourself permission to take one clumsy step forward while covered in scars. So, how do we break through this invisible wall and finally release that tightly pulled handbrake? Listen to me closely. Do not map out some grandiose, "I will reinvent my life tomorrow" resolution. That will only cause your amygdala to sound the alarm all over again. We must practice cognitive reframing on your nervous system, using absurdly micro actions to bypass your brain's defense radar. There is an incredibly effective psychological protocol known as the shitty first draft strategy. Starting today, grant yourself the absolute permission to produce garbage. If you want to write a novel, your objective for today is to write 50 words, even if they are pure nonsense. If you want to work out, your objective today is merely to put on your sneakers and stand in your living room for 60 seconds. When you lower the barrier of entry to a level that is borderline ridiculous, your subconscious defense mechanisms will not be triggered. You must understand that done is infinitely better than perfect. The moment the wheels nudge forward even a fraction of an inch, the resistance holding the handbrake breaks down. Now, let us engage in a micro-assignment right here in the comments section. Do not type out a long, sweeping manifesto of change. Leave a comment detailing the most minuscule, almost laughable micro-task you commit to doing today. For example, today, I am going to open a Word document and type a single title. Or, today, I am going to throw away the empty takeout box sitting on my desk. Go ahead and type it out. The exact millisecond you type those words on your screen, you have successfully executed a microscopic rebellion against your freeze state. You have never been a useless, lazy person. You have simply been an eagle, wound up too tight under high pressure, having forgotten how to land safely. Release your brakes. The world doesn't demand that you teleport to the peak of the mountain in one single leap. It only asks that today you simply flap your wings.